Imagine Anna, a young professional who has just received her first significant bonus at work. On the surface, it's a moment of pride, a milestone she's worked tirelessly to achieve. Yet beneath that surface, Anna feels a strange weight pressing down on her chest. A quiet but persistent discomfort she can't shake. Instead of celebrating or sharing the good news with family and friends, she finds herself shrinking away, hiding her achievement. She worries about what others will think. Will they see her differently? Will they accuse her of being selfish or greedy? Anna is not alone. This silent, hidden feeling is something millions of people experience every day. Even as they earn more, succeed, or build wealth, they carry a deep sense of shame about money. But why? Why would money, which so many believe should symbolize freedom, security, and opportunity, become a source of guilt and fear? The answer is complex. This shame isn't simply a personal failing or an irrational fear. It is rooted in cultural stories, family teachings, and long-held societal beliefs about money and worth. From an early age, many of us are exposed to messages, both spoken and unspoken, that link money with negative qualities. Money is the root of all evil. Rich people are greedy. You don't become a good person by chasing wealth. These messages are often passed down through generations, embedded in family dynamics and social norms. Sometimes they come from religious teachings, sometimes from the moral stories our communities tell, and sometimes from the fear and scarcity experienced by those who raised us. Over time, these lessons become internalized. They create an invisible barrier between us and the wealth we desire, not just in terms of dollars and cents, but in our ability to accept success, abundance, and prosperity without guilt. This shame often shows up in subtle but powerful ways. Anna's story is a perfect example. She hides her bonus because she fears judgment or alienation. She might downplay her success in conversations or feel undeserving of the rewards she's earned. Others might sabotage their own progress by avoiding raises, refusing promotions, or spending money quickly to avoid accumulating too much. This impulsive spending can be a way to normalize their financial situation, to avoid feeling different or too rich. These patterns, Dante, come from a lack of intelligence or hard work. They are emotional reactions to deep-seated beliefs. And because they are so ingrained, they often operate beneath our conscious awareness, making them difficult to recognize and even harder to change. When you begin to see the roots of your financial guilt and embarrassment, you gain the power to question those beliefs and the control they have over your choices. In this video, we'll explore the origins of financial shame, how it sabotages crucial money decisions, and most importantly, what practical steps you can take to break free from this limiting cycle. Because true financial freedom isn't just about how much money you make, it's about healing your relationship with money itself. And that journey begins by shining a light on the shame that has kept you stuck for too long. Most of us like to believe that our financial decisions are based purely on logic, careful planning, and personal experience. But the reality is far more complicated. Our feelings about money, especially shame and guilt, are often rooted in deep psychological and cultural programming that begins early in life. From family stories whispered at the dinner table to the broader social narratives we absorb through media, religion, and community, we learn subtle messages about what money means and what it should mean. For example, many of us inherit beliefs like, you shouldn't want too much, or you'll become a bad person. You get rich, you might lose who you truly are. These beliefs create invisible walls in our minds that restrict how we think about earning, saving, and spending. They trigger emotional responses that often contradict our conscious goals. We might want to save money, but end up spending impulsively. We might want to ask for a raise, but hold back out of fear. This clash between desire and deep-seated belief is called cognitive dissonance, and it causes stress, anxiety, and often self-sabotage. Understanding how these feelings of shame and guilt develop is essential for anyone who wants to break free from limiting financial patterns. In this video, we'll dive into the origins of financial shame and guilt. Explore how they silently sabotage our money decisions, and offer insights to help you start rewriting your money story. Because only by facing these hidden emotions can you build a healthier, more empowering relationship with money. Meet Sarah, a young graphic designer in her late 20s, full of talent, dreams, and determination. But from the very beginning, money was a subject wrapped in silence and shadows in her home. Her parents never talked about finances openly. Instead, money was something to be wary of, almost a taboo. Remembers her mother's quiet voice, almost a whisper during family dinners. Money is dirty. Her father's disapproving glance at neighbors who flaunted wealth lingered in her mind. At family gatherings, money was never discussed. It was as if mentioning it aloud might invite shame, envy, or judgment. Sarah learned early that money came with strings attached, not just bills and coins, but emotions, judgments, and expectations. She grew up sensing that to talk about money was to risk becoming different, to risk being seen as greedy or selfish. Despite this unspoken warning, Sarah dreamed of something different. She excelled in school and immersed herself in her passion for art and design. Determined to escape the quiet scarcity of her childhood, she worked tirelessly to build a career that could provide freedom and security. Her talent opened doors. She received promotions, praise, and opportunities that seemed to promise a better life. Eventually, Sarah took the bold step to start her own freelance design business. Believing she could rewrite her money story, her income steadily increased. With every client and paycheck, Sarah should have felt victorious. But instead, she felt a knot tighten in her stomach. When she landed a major client or received a substantial payment, Sarah felt uneasy. Rather than celebrating, she found herself shrinking away. She worried about what her family would think. Would they accuse her of changing? Of abandoning her roots? She began hiding her earnings from those closest to her. In conversations, she downplayed her success or quickly changed the subject when money came up. On the inside, Sarah was caught in a silent battle. One voice told her she deserved this success, that her hard work had earned every dollar. The other whispered that money was dirty, that to hold on to wealth was to risk losing herself and her place in the family. This emotional conflict shaped many of Sarah's financial decisions, causing hesitation, self-doubt, and sometimes even self-sabotage. Her story is not unique. Many people carry these invisible burdens, passed down through family and culture, that create deep shame around money. But awareness is the first step toward change. By recognizing the roots of this shame, and anyone watching can begin to loosen the invisible chains and move toward a healthier relationship with money and success. Sarah's story didn't collapse all at once. Instead, it was a slow and subtle unraveling, one that crept in through quiet moments and small decisions, moments that often go unnoticed until they add up to something much bigger. The shame she carried about money wasn't loud or dramatic. It was a whisper, a shadow lurking just beneath the surface of her thoughts. And yet, this whisper was powerful enough to shape her actions and steer her away from opportunities that could have changed everything. Take, for example, the time she was invited to pitch for a major client, a chance that could elevate her freelance business to a whole new level. Her initial reaction was excitement, but it quickly gave way to hesitation. A quiet voice inside whispered, "You don't belong in that room." That doubt slowly grew until she found herself procrastinating, avoiding preparation, and ultimately deciding not to pursue the opportunity at all. Similarly, when Sarah considered raising her rates, she was gripped by a fear that asking for more would make her seem greedy or arrogant. Despite knowing her work's true value, she kept her prices low, silently convincing herself that this was the right thing to do, a way to stay humble and avoid judgment. This wasn't about lacking skill or effort. It was about a deep, conscious belief that she didn't deserve success or wealth, a belief born from years of internalizing shame around money. This invisible tug-of-war between desire and guilt grew louder with every achievement. Joy and pride, instead of lifting her up, became tangled with anxiety and self-doubt. To cope with these conflicting emotions, Sarah began engaging in impulsive spending, buying things she didn't truly need or want. This wasn't reckless behavior. It was a coping mechanism, a way to use up money before it could make her feel uncomfortable or different from those around her. As months passed, these patterns drained not only her bank account, but also her confidence and energy. Opportunities slipped through her fingers. Goals she once chased became distant dreams. The moment her long-term client decided not to renew their contract was a devastating blow. Not just financially, but emotionally. It felt like confirmation of all her deepest fears. She told herself, "Maybe I'm not meant to succeed." Sarah's fall wasn't caused by the market or bad luck. It was driven by an internal force, the heavy, invisible weight of financial shame that sabotaged her every step. This experience isn't unique to Sarah. Millions carry this burden, trapped in cycles of guilt and fear that silently undermine their potential. Recognizing this fall, understanding how shame fuels self-sabotage, is the first step toward reclaiming power over your financial life. When you shine a light on these hidden patterns, you begin to break free from their grip. And that's where real healing and real growth begins. Sarah's experience reveals a powerful psychological pattern many people live without realizing: the invisible trap of financial shame and guilt. These feelings are not random or superficial. They are deeply rooted in the way our minds try to balance conflicting beliefs about money, success, and self-worth. At the heart of this struggle lies a phenomenon called cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort we feel when our actions conflict with our beliefs or values. For Sarah, The desire to succeed and build wealth clashed with the ingrained belief that money is dirty, that she doesn't deserve to have more. This conflict created a painful tension inside her, forcing her mind to find ways to reduce the discomfort. Sometimes that meant avoiding opportunities or downplaying her achievements. Other times it showed up as impulsive spending, a way to use up money so it wouldn't build up and make her feel guilty. This mental juggling act is also deeply tied to self-image. If you've grown up believing that being wealthy means becoming greedy or losing your identity, your brain will resist changes that threaten that self-image. That's why success can feel like a betrayal, both to yourself and to those who raised you. Moreover, these patterns are often reinforced by invisible family loyalty, an unconscious commitment to uphold the emotional norms and values of your family, even if they limit your potential. Sarah's hesitation and self-sabotage weren't failures of willpower or character. They were her mind's way of protecting her sense of belonging and identity. The good news is that once you understand this psychological error, you gain the power to challenge it. Recognizing the invisible chains of shame and guilt allows you to start rewriting your money story. You can learn to separate your self-worth from outdated beliefs about money and embrace financial success without fear or guilt. True financial freedom isn't just about accumulating wealth. It's about healing the emotional wounds that have held you back and building a new, empowered relationship with money. Sarah's story teaches us something vital. Feeling shame or guilt about money is not a personal failure. It's a reflection of deep, often hidden beliefs passed down through family and culture. But the good news is this: those beliefs aren't permanent. You have the power to recognize them, question them, and choose a different path. The first step is awareness. Begin by noticing the messages you absorbed about money growing up, both spoken and unspoken. Ask yourself, which beliefs about money still hold me back? What fears or shame do I carry that stop me from fully embracing financial success? Next comes permission. Give yourself permission to want more. It's okay to succeed. It's okay to build wealth. It's okay to enjoy prosperity without guilt or shame. Then take action. Here are some practical steps to start shifting your money mindset. Reflect on your earliest memories of money and how they made you feel. Identify limiting beliefs about money and write them down. Challenge those beliefs by seeking evidence that contradicts them. Surround yourself with positive financial influences. Books, podcasts, mentors. Practice small acts of financial courage, like saving a bit more or setting boundaries around spending. Remember, changing your relationship with money is a journey, one that requires patience and kindness toward yourself. But every step forward is a victory. Your financial future isn't written in stone. It's a story you can rewrite. It starts with letting go of shame and embracing your worthiness to prosper. Now that you understand how shame and guilt can shape your relationship with money, I want to hear from you. What messages about money did you grow up with? Have you ever felt ashamed or guilty about earning or having money? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience could inspire someone else who's struggling in silence. If this video helped you see your money mindset in a new light, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden side of money. Remember, healing your money story takes courage, but you're not alone on this journey. Join our community at Cashfrenia and take the next step toward financial freedom, one step at a time. Because the story you choose to believe about money today shapes your reality tomorrow.